I'm going to talk through what I'm looking for this handshake problem. Uh, Here's the big idea. I want you to write a paper, and I want it to be that if I had no idea anything about this rubric, if I didn't know what it was or what it said or any of that, I want to be able to tell from your paper the problem you're trying to solve, what you did or tried, what the results were, what your answer was and your support for it, and then some kind of looking back. So this paper should be a complete story of this problem and how you worked through it, okay? In order to get you through that, here is what I'm looking for. First, you need an identification of the problem section. It should tell me what the problem is. What are you trying to figure out? Assume that your reader has not seen this problem, okay? Problem is at the end here. I know what it is, of course, because I wrote it to give to you, but assume that your audience does not know what the problem is. So you can see I've got 5 different point categories here. Either, oh, I think I lost my mouse. There we go. Man, touching mouse. Okay. Either your paper does not have any identification of the problem, okay, it doesn't have anything that tells me really what you're trying to do. For 2 of the 5 points, you can just copy and paste the original statement, okay, fine. Or you tell me the problem in your own words, but you forget to tell me some important fact. For 4 points, you tell me everything, but it doesn't really work as an introduction to your paper. And for 5 points, you tell me the problem, and then that flows, or you at least have a sentence in there saying, and now I'm going to talk about what I did. Speaking of, your analysis section should be, what did you do? Okay, your strategies, your solution, your support for your solution, your argument for your solution. Why does your answer have to be right, or why do you think your answer is right? Okay, so you can get from 0 to 15 points here. This problem as a whole is worth 30 points, so this is half of the points. Of course, if it's missing, there's nothing going on there, 0 points. If I can't make any sense of what you're telling me, or you don't have any processes, and you don't have an answer, that's 3 points, okay. If I can't tell what you're trying to tell me, you've got just a little support for your answer, and it has no solutions, you're up to 6 points. If I can't tell what you're trying to tell me, you don't have much support for your answer, but you have the right answer, I'll give you 9 points. Okay, so if you've got some words and then the right answer, you can get 9 of these 15 points. If I can tell what you've got going on, you've got some work and support, but your solution isn't right, so this is well written and I know what you were up to, but you have the wrong answer, I'll give you 12 of these 15 points. And then finally, if you have everything, it's well reasoned, well argued, told me what you did, you told me your answer, and it's right, I'll give you 15 points. A lot of students end up between 12 and 15 points because they either have the right answer, but their argument's a little weak, or they have the wrong answer, but it's really well written. But that's what that section is about. Heuristics, or problem-solving techniques. Tell me some problem-solving technique you use to solve this problem. You do that, I'll give you these 2 points. Okay. Looking back, once you're done with everything, you need to wrap up your paper. Tell me tell me all of what you learned, okay, besides just what the solution was. A second thing, tell me how this problem compares to another problem you've seen or solved. And finally, tell me how the solution could maybe be extended to similar scenarios. You don't have to solve those scenarios, you just have to tell me how could it be extended maybe. You should also have a little conclusion here. So for your looking back section, if you don't have a looking back section, 0 of the 5 points. If it doesn't talk about any of these 3 things, I'll give you 1 point. If it only does one of these 3 things, I'll give you 2 points if you don't conclude the paper. If it looks back and only does one of these 3 things, but concludes the paper, I'll give you 3. If you get around to addressing 2 of those 3 topics, I'll give you 4 points. And if you address all 5, I'll give you all 3, or all 3 of these, I'll give you 5 points. And that's it, okay? Oh, sorry, grammar and spelling. You need to use good grammar. Now, by good grammar, I don't mean perfect, flawless grammar. But as long as your paper's pretty readable, there are 3 less errors that I notice, no problem. I'll give you these 3 points. If you've got quite a few, you know, a 2. If you've got a ton of errors in grammar, a 1. And if I can't read your paper, I'll give you a 0, and I might make you rewrite it. Okay. Other things, type your paper. Okay, you've got to type it. It's got to be word processed in some way. If you've got diagrams or pictures, make them on the computer or make them by hand and scan them in so that they're part of a digital file. This problem is due September 28th at 11 a.m. Okay, that's a Monday. All your stuff's due on Mondays at 11 a.m., so this is the same. There's no minimum length, all right? As long as you hit those topics, can tell me the support for your answer, tell me what you did, there's no minimum length. I've had great projects that were a page. I've had kind of crummy projects that were 5 pages, 6 pages. So there's no minimum length for this. Just make sure you address those things above. You can work with other people. You can use that discussion board that I'll have underneath this project to talk and ask questions or whatever you want to do. You can ask your neighbor who's good at these types of things. You can ask your roommate or significant other or anyone. All you need to do is, once you're ready to write up the problem, write it in your own words. As long as you've got the paper into me when it's due, you can rewrite it. Okay? If you turn it in on time, I will grade it. I will scan my rubric back to you with all my comments. And if you like what you got, you're happy, you're done. If you want to redo it, you'll have until October 12th at 11 a.m. If you turn in a new copy, I'll regrade it or grade your new paper and then give you the better score. All right? So this is supposed to alleviate some of your anxiety about, I'm not sure what the instructor wants, or I looked through the rubric and I think I did this, but I'm not sure. So rewrites, that's a time. After I get your paper back, you can rewrite it, revamp anything, and turn it back in. Finally then, here's this problem statement. Mike and Dominique go to a party with 4 other couples. Each person there shakes hands with everyone he or she doesn't know. Later, Mike does a survey and discovers that every one of the 9 other attendees shook hands with a different number of people. How many people did Dominique shake hands with? So that's your problem. As you start to think about it here, make sure you're kind of keeping track or writing down, what did I do? What did I try? Did I try to make a list? Did I try to draw a picture? Did I use Excel to do a spreadsheet or something? Keep track of all those things you do, because even if they don't help you solve the problem, I want them in that analysis section. They can beef up your analysis section and let me know, well, I had tried this and it didn't work, but when I tried this, then that really helped me. Okay? If you have questions, of course, email me. Post them in the message board. I'll do my best to check that message board once a weekday or so. If I get behind, of course, I may need to make an announcement and just answer general questions there. But that message board, email, those are your main venues of getting more information from me about this project.